Welcome to another TPE repair tutorial and blemish removal. So here we have assorted heat guns and infrared temp guns that you'll need for this repair. So first of all, we'll start with a deep face cut, and this is an easy skin repair, but you'll have a two-step process to repair this. We're going to use a hot metal blade to anneal the material first. Simply reflowing the material with a heat gun is not enough to create a repair. So let's start off with baby oil. So you take baby oil and you coat the actual wound as well as you can. So you pre-soak the towel and use as much oil as needed. And you want to get the oil inside the wound as well. Yeah, you can flow it in by hand. That's good enough. Alright, so just a flat blade screwdriver is all you need for this, because that's about the size of the repair that you're going to need. An infrared temperature monitor. You want to get the temperature obviously around about 120 Celsius, as you've seen in my other videos. And a simple flat blade screwdriver. And you're going to need to heat that up with a propane torch. Now nothing fancy is needed here, just to get it to about 200 degrees Celsius or a little bit higher. Now you don't want to get the screwdriver or the flat blade red hot. That's going to be a real problem, as you're going to melt the material way too fast for you to fix it. I would imagine heat it up for 5 seconds. Insert the blade, and then you just anneal. So just to demonstrate that, I will use a sample piece of TPE. Just create a little cut about the same depth as you're going to need to repair, and that's about it. So let's see how the test works. So I got the thing pretty hot, so just get that screwdriver nice and hot, not red hot, but let's say 5 or 6 seconds in heat. You push it in and you see it kind of searing together, and it starts to create kind of a bubbles, and as it melts you just push the two pieces together and just insert the blade, and then hold the two pieces for a few seconds to anneal as it cools. For big wounds you're going to need to hold it for about a minute. For something like this, a few seconds, 5 seconds will probably do just fine. And that's pretty straightforward. So that's the hot blade knife procedure. So here we're going to actually do this on the face. So there's no point in saying there's a take number 2, because this is the only take I'm going to have, because otherwise I'm going to ruin the face. So there it is. I'm going to insert the blade, anneal, and this was very easy because the actual wound was closed to begin with, so it didn't really need any forcing or essentially using our hands to keep it closed. So the surface is rough. Obviously here we want to reflow with a heat gun once we've annealed the wound. You can use TPE glue to do this repair. However, it may or may not make it worse, and I found that TPE glue can really make a huge hole if you're not careful. Annealing with a heated blade typically does not make it worse, because you have a great control over how much melting you want to have. So you can kind of see the wound that exists. So here's the heat gun. Now I have this thing set at a lowish temperature. I think it's about 750 watts. The high setting is 1500 watts. A piece of 200 grit sandpaper that's pre-soaked with oil is needed. People ask me, why do you use a piece of sandpaper? Well, it's to really make the texture and preserve texture for the TPE. It actually creates a very similar texture that exists on the doll itself. If you don't have that texture, you're going to have a mirror finish, and it's going to look, not so good. So let's get the temperature up to about 120 degrees Celsius. It's a very safe temperature to use that won't damage the material. If you really are anxious and you have a problem with melting material, you can go to 130 or 140 C. But as soon as you see smoke is when you have to stop. This actual procedure will not work really well without oil, because the oil distributes the heat very evenly, and it's almost like a substrate for the melting procedure. So once we have the 120 C, you just tamp down with the wet sandpaper. So this is what they call a round of repair. So one round is one heating and one tamping with the sandpaper. And you'll have to do this for this repair probably 5 or 6 times. Each time you do that, it'll get a little bit better. The wound will get a little bit more smoothed out. But it's better to do it in small steps. So this, the story behind this one was the doll. I was shooting her in the backyard, and I had a prop rod, and I was like looking at my camera or something, and I just noticed she went down really fast, face first into the dirt. And I thought that was the worst. Oh my God, that would be the worst result, was to fall face first onto rocks and dirt. And believe it or not, the only damage that occurred was this face injury. Now, I'm kind of thankful for that, because I could easily repair that. But if I had a broken bone, some joint that was broken in the doll, that would have been a real big problem. And that will end your day really quickly. So I do a lot of shots outdoors that are standing shots without any visible supports, because I edit those out in Photoshop. But to be honest with you, the risk is huge when you have to use supports, because you rely on essentially that support's going to hold. And a little slip or a little bit of wind, you're not looking, and next thing you know, she's on the ground. And this happens to all of us. And this happens, once too many times, and you're going to have a damaged doll that's permanent. So in another video I'm queuing up, I think I'm going to release this really, really soon, is I had another doll that actually fell over and broke her back. The mid-spine broke clean. And so I figured I could actually make a video on how to repair that damage by using welding tools. And, this is a really extreme repair, but, what can we do to salvage this doll? And this is what the video is that's queued up next. So the damages occur all the time. So again, just keep on doing this procedure. Use the infrared temp gun as much as you can. Don't guess this game. You can look at the glazing and you can wing it, but boy, if you are looking at an area where you've made a mistake and you overcooked it, repairs are going to be very difficult, especially when you tamp down and you put a fingerprint down, and that's going to be hard to remove. And it's pretty hot, obviously, to the fingers. I can feel the heat coming through the sandpaper. I use what they call the 3-foot rule. If I can't see the repair with 3 feet distance, then I know it's good. I don't use a magnifying glass to look at it from 2 inches away, but it's not needed. You're not going to get anything repaired to that precision where it's not visible, but you know where the damage was, but it's got to be at least presentable. And a little bit later in the video, I'm going to show you a few more types of repair that I do here. There's a shoulder repair, there's a butt repair, and a nipple recoloring procedure. And it's kind of cool to see, how I go about doing these things. since I do these promo shoots all the time, and accidents happen to me all the time. I actually I've broken two dolls already, and one of which was irreparable, and the second doll that was repairable, I videoed the whole repair procedure and made a couple videos out of it. But typically, when someone breaks a mid spine or a leg, it's going to be very difficult to repair that. And so here I'll just show a video at some point showing that repair. So obviously when you finish, it looks glazy, shiny, the oil's still saturating. You can leave this overnight to dry, and you can tamp it down with a microfiber towel to get a little bit more oil soaked up. Add a little bit of baby powder. It really goes a long way. This reduces the shine and stickiness. And you start to see how well this procedure works, because you start to see, like, there's no noticeable repair visible. I mean, you can be like a magician here, and like really fix everything on your doll. The best thing to do is as soon as you see damages, just spend a Saturday or Sunday, dealing with those things. It's better to just be satisfied with a good repair than not sleep at night that your doll's got like holes everywhere and like it's starting to fall apart. Maintenance is really critical with these guys. TPE is very soft and it tears very easily, no matter how you take care of it. Okay, so here I'm going to add foundation. So my wife donated some material, which is just basically a simple foundation material, which is about the skin color. So it's like baby powder, but it's slightly tinted to the color of the skin. So give it a go. I mean, it really helps to make the head look more natural. And I'll add it all over the place, even the nose and the chin, areas where there's a lot of reflection. And you want to make it uniform and as natural as possible. So I found that, using foundation and blush really helps to accentuate the realism of these dolls. And I have some pictures on some of on the doll forum where I showed, some highly realistic results that you can get when you really take the time to do lots of work up front to get these heads looking really nice. And you can see everything here is done in real time. I'm not really speeding up the video here, but just to show you how long it takes or how shortly, a repair takes. Here it's been, what, 12 minutes, and we've got the repair done already, and I've already got, essentially the cosmetics being applied. The next step we want to do is add blush. That's just a pinkish. There's three tones there you can try. I'm using the middle one, more of a neutral color. I know in some pictures I'll use a lot of pinkish blush with a pinkish colored lipstick, and that will give it that really youthful look that I try to get in some of these heads. If the face really looks for like it needs that, I'll do that. But a lot of my pictures I'll try to do a red lips with a little bit of mica added to the lip gloss. So mica is something you can buy at Walmart or something, and you mix it in to the lip gloss, and it gives you that really metallic look. But you don't want to add too much of that. So that looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. There's some areas on the blush I want to just tone down a bit. So I'll take a little microfiber towel dipped in oil and just tamp it out a little bit, just very, very slightly. Blush, just get rid of that little area there. And what, actually, this is not really oil that I'm using here, but it's actually Pond's makeup remover. And you can eventually add a little bit of powder to get that dulled out a little bit, and then you're done. And that, guys, is the repair for the head. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to hearing you guys' comments. Thanks for watching.